All right, we're doing man on the street interviews here at TEC with famous MVP Mark Rackley. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing well, thank you, and thank you for calling me famous. I appreciate that.
Hey, you're a legend, dude. All right, I got 3 questions for you today.
Okay.
The first one, why do you think Microsoft changed the name of Azure AD to Entra ID? What was up with that?
Because somebody at Microsoft gets paid for every time they change a product name. And so, this was a chance for them to they hadn't changed anything in a while. So let's go ahead, it's Office 365, now it's Microsoft 365. What can we change next? Oh, why don't we change this? Because that totally makes sense.
If you're not going to change the product, change the name.
Right,
all right, good
exactly.
answer. All right, next. You probably have heard of the new Teams 2.1 client, right?
Yes.
What do you think about the Unified Fun Picker?
The Unified Fun Picker. Oh, is that the thing where you click and now it's the GIFs and everything all in one place? It's a feature in search of a problem. I mean, I didn't think it was a problem before, but again, somebody needs to have a job. So yeah, okay. They should fix it, make it all work first before they do things like the Unified Fun Picker. Wait, this isn't being recorded, is it?
This is actually streaming live. You have 2.9 million people are watching this right now.
Former MVP Mark Rackley.
All right, so now pick a question out of the hat. Let me hand you that.
All right, what's the question?
All right, so last year at TEC, Alex Weinert from Microsoft said that only 26% of all Entra ID accounts were protected by MFA. In your organization, what's the percentage?
Oh, it's 100%.
All right, if it's 100%, you can be excused and you get a hat.
Yeah, I work for Avanade, which is owned by Accenture, which is actually partially by Microsoft as well. So we can't scratch our back without having to do MFA. So we're working on going passwordless too. So I think that makes the MFA story even stronger because now I don't have to remember my password. I can just use MFA with my authenticator app to log in. So yeah.
So we'll make a note to ask Mark about passwordless adoption next year.
Julian, so we have a couple questions for you today.
Sure.
And then we're going to ask you to pick a question from the hat.
Okay.
There's going to be Microsoft rated questions, and answer them as honestly as you can, right? Okay. So our first one. What do you think Microsoft changed the name Azure AD to Entra ID?
I don't know what I would name it, but I know why they did. For a long time, they've been trying to get out of the Azure versus Azure AD nomenclature. When people think Azure AD, they automatically think of some of the infrastructure components. So they wanted to isolate the directory components to talk about just directory with Entra ID. So I know why they did. And in 6 months, it may change. Who knows? You know how they are with their naming standards. So who knows? It may change from them. But I understand why they did it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, second question here. The Teams 2.1 client came out.
Yes.
What do you think of the Unified Fun Picker?
It's really fun. I haven't messed around with much of the Teams 2.1 client, so I can't really give any more specifics on that. But from some of the features I've seen, for the release, I think it's good on what they're trying to do with some of the tenant experience of going tenant to tenant with your guest access and things like that. So it'll be good to see the release when it actually comes and hits my desk because I haven't actually tested it.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and pick a question from the hat. All right, let's see. Is Microsoft 365 Copilot too expensive at $30 a month a price?
I think it's yet to be seen. So I think with some of the Copilot features you'll have with some of the productivity, I think especially in the Office suite, with some of the use cases that you'll have on the enterprise side, whether it's putting together some templates for Word documents or like executive presentations, things like that. I think having that added help, I think especially on your enterprises where some of the departments are kind of isolated in productivity with communications, things like that. I think it'll definitely help. Will that $30 a month and aggregating that over time help? It remains to be seen. I know it's a hard pill for.
It actually was actually a two-part question. So, what added value do you think your users get from Microsoft Copilot?
Just what I was saying earlier. So, with some templates and documentation on the Word side, I think especially on some of the spreadsheet help that they'll get with some of the formulas and some of the things that AI can do, and I think on the PowerPoint presentations with getting those templates and writing PowerPoint presentations for people, I think they'll get the power of the Copilot. I think they'll get power of Copilot that way.
So overall, you think it's going to be worth it?
I think so. Yeah, over time.
All right. Why do you think Microsoft changed the name of Azure Active Directory to Entra ID? What were they thinking with that?
I actually have no idea, to be honest with you.
You're joining it. You're in very good company when you say that.
yeah. I'm sure to have a good reason, but.
All right. Have you heard of the new Teams 2.1 client?
Oh yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about the unified fund picker?
I mean, it doesn't really change the way I do my work in security, so it really isn't applicable. So.
Okay. So you heard it here first. Security is not actually fun.
Right, absolutely. It actually is. Yeah, right. Is on-prem Active Directory secure? Why? Well, actually, in some respects, I think we, as an active admin, administrator, I think it is more secure in some respects because I feel like we have more control than when it's on in Azure AD, and we have less visibility, I think, of some of the actions that happen up there. But now that we've integrated some Defender for Identity, and we're kind of a hybrid environment, we're able to monitor both of those. I just feel like I have more control on-prem, and now that we're using a Hunter's Security Operations Center to integrate alerts from both platforms, I think we get correlation between events on both, and I think so it makes it a lot more secure, actually.
So, Azure AD was just renamed to Entra ID. What do you think about that?
Well, from Azure to Entra is like, it doesn't feel any different. It's the same thing. It's just a different name. It's like you can say Ferrari and you can say sports car. What's the difference between these two? Yeah. It's the same thing. Behind the scenes, it's the same, but in the middle, in the front end, it's got a different name. But I think it's not bad. It's okay.
Yeah, good name.
For me, yeah, it's a good name. It's a good name. It's not bad.
Okay.
I mean, it's better than Azure. Yeah.
A little less confusing, maybe?
In the beginning, yes, because everybody knows Azure now. It's a little bit crazy about Entra. So it's kind of a little bit confusing in the beginning, but eventually you will be seeing, Entra is better than Azure. So yeah, because with Azure, some people say Azure, some people say Azure, so it's kind of a little bit of confusing right there. But Entra is Entra. Yeah. So it's better.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So second question, you're familiar with the Teams 2.1 client. Are you familiar with the new Fun Picker, and what do you think about it?
Which one?
The Fun Picker in the new Teams 2.1 client.
I'm not really familiar with that one right now.
No fun for you then?
No fun for me.
Excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and get you to pick a question out of the hat and see what you get. All right, let's read it. So a year ago, Alex Weinert told us only 26% of Entra ID accounts were protected by MFA. What's the percentage at your org?
80%.
80%?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's only 80?
Because 20% they're all services accounts.
So 20% are automation.
Automation account, yes. That's why it's 80%.
Fair enough. I appreciate your time and participation.
Right,
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm here in Atlanta with London-based legendary MVP Mike Weaver. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Paul?
I'm great, man. We have some man-on-the-street questions for you. Now, technically, we're not on the street, but we'll just have to make do.
We can make it work.
All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to draw a question out of the magic hat that Rich is holding.
The Magic Tech Hat.
The magic tech hat.
Oh, man, it's a long one.
Oh, it's a good one.
Is Microsoft 365 Copilot too expensive at $30 a month price? What added value do you think your users will get from Microsoft 365 Copilot? Oh, I feel like I should do like a big it depends, and you gotta apply to your environment. How big are you? And really apply it. But that's all this game,
Simple
right?
Simple question. $30 a user. Worth it? Not worth it?
I don't have that budget. That's a pretty strong price there. But if you're in an organization where you can leverage all the features that come with it, you can justify that cost, or you can offload from another technology. Maybe you don't renew a different contract for something else. You can kind of justify it. But this is a challenge of the premium price on any of these SKUs, right? It's you've got to find the budget for it from somewhere or something else. Premium teams, that's always a good debate too, right? Is that going to actually save enough money and allow you to get cancel another contract to make that work?
So the short answer is it depends.
Always the easy answer.
All right, so now the two fun questions. Why do you think Microsoft changed the name of Azure AD to Intra ID?
I think they were concerned that we wouldn't have, you can tell if a blog is old or not by if it's, you know, if you have the new name or not. That's about where I am on it. I'm really not sure. I know there's confusion, you know, on the services versus the Active Directory component, the identity component, but that's a hard one. I know I was going through all my blogs and adding the dual name and everything last week. It's a lot of work.
So it's basically like a freshness state, right?
Yeah, I mean, all my SEO work has, you know, not really worked out on that side.
All right, so last question. You know that Microsoft's got a new version of the Teams client finally coming out.
Yep.
What do you think about the Unified Fun Picker?
The Unified Fun Picker.
The Unified Fun Picker.
What is a Unified Fun Picker?
It's a unified place for you to pick your fun, Mike.
I see.
So it's a new UI element that lets you choose from animated GIFs and emojis and other
they put it all
fun.
together.
They put it all together.
I see. That makes a lot of sense because it is frustrating when you're starting with an emoji and it doesn't quite connect, and then you want to change to a GIF. And you know, I like the Unified Fun Picker.
All right, so score Mike as a vote in favor of Unified Fun.